Pakistani Christians are influenced by Pakistani Muslim in this context that when Christians of Pakistan, they are so used to eating halal food, and they don't eat pork, and most of them don't drink either, though all of them drink in Pakistan. I mean, like 70% of the friends of mine, the population that I know, they all drink. And from where do they buy drinks? From their Christian friends. So what I'm trying to say is that the way Pakistani Muslims radicalized over the years, Pakistani Christians also radicalized in the same way. And their way of looking at things, like they used to be very, very liberal when we were growing up. The Christian mind was different than the Muslim mind, and Christian kids were learning things differently. And they were growing up in different kind of atmosphere at home. But now when I look at it and I see that the way Muslims look at things, Pakistani Christians also look at the things the same way. And that is mainly because when you live in the environment, so you keep learning things about it. And why am I putting this foundation for this very talk about the culture, the influence of religion and culture, and how one religious culture can affect the other religious culture? Just recently, I was looking at different news channels and different channels, and I found that Saudi government just released a TV series called Muawiyah series, which is the most expensive opera in the history of Saudi TV. They spent like 100 million US dollars on it, and all they produced is a very controversial TV show. Controversial in a sense that many sects in the world, they either are, you find them defending Muawiyah or you find them going against Muawiyah. Like primarily, if we are talking about the Shia Sunni conflict in different parts of the world, particularly in Pakistan and India, and then of course Iran and Iraq, and of course Saudi Arabia too, where they have different kind of Islam. You see people, or you'll find people either in favor of Muawiyah or people who are against Muawiyah, because Muawiyah was the one who was absolutely against, according to the historic perspective, against Ali ibn Talib, who is the most revered personality in Shia Islam. So the TV series has become like extremely controversial, and my reason for making this video is that why Pakistani Muslims have the problem with whatever is going on all over the world which is related to Islam. I mean, there are so many things that Pakistanis are supposed to do to improve the quality of their lives, improve their education standard, improve the grooming of their mind, their perspective, their vision. They have to deal with the poverty, education, health. There are so many issues, but somehow religion becomes the top priority in Pakistan, and criticizing others, even places like Saudi Arabia, which is the central hub for Islam, and people like to go there from all over the world to perform pilgrimage. And even if Saudis do something which does not rhyme with the ideologies of Pakistani Muslims or the Indian Muslims too, it becomes a sensitive issue. Indeed, there are issues with this, and why I'm comparing this with Pakistani Christians is that there is another TV show going on right now, which is called House of David. In House of David, indeed has some biblical inaccuracies, and nobody is talking about it. But the other day, one of the videos from Pastor Tony William, who is from Pakistan, I just watched one of his videos, and he was criticizing the same show for biblical inaccuracies and the way David is presented in the show. So I was looking at Muawiyah's show, and then I was looking at House of David, and I'm watching both of them, and I found like how the way the Muslims are reacting towards Muawiyah's show is Pastor Tony William is also reacting towards the inaccuracies of House of David. Okay, I'll come to House of David part later, but I'll let me finish with the Muawiyah series first. So the show is being banned in many countries. It is already banned in Iran and Iraq, and I don't know if there is any other country. And they think that it has to be banned because of the sectarian sensitivities, because there are Shia Muslims, and then there are parts where Shia and Sunni both are living. And Muawiyah is projected as a hero in this show. And then there are things like the first 2-3 episodes that I watched is that the way they portrayed Abu Sufyan in it, and then they portrayed the war of the Battle of Badr as a reason for the Battle of Uhud. They think that Muhammad sent his people, his Sahabis, to attack the people who were carrying, who were part of a caravan who was traveling, and those people were carrying like expensive goods and money and gold and all the stuff. And Muhammad and his company, according to that part, was a warlord kind of person, and he just wanted more money. So they tried to take the money away, and they looted the caravan, and that became one reason that they wanted to exact the revenge on that caravan and on that looting event, and that's why Badr happened. So technically, it proves that Muhammad was a warlord, and he liked to raid traveling caravans to collect money, and Sufyan and his people then exacted the revenge because of Badr. Yeah, and some people, I was looking at the commentary and some TV shows otherwise, and I found that okay, people are giving explanation that Badr happened because people were carrying weapons, and the money that they were carrying with them was about to be used against Islam. So anyway, these kind of small things are making the understanding go different. The second thing is the sectarian sensitivity can lead to change in the ideology of the faith system of the people already. And these days, social media and TV has a great deal of effect on the mental grooming and mental development of the newer generation. So that's one reason that most of the people are trying to stop this show. Al-Azhar even has, the university has declared it to be a show which should not be watched. So, but Al-Azhar has a different reason for that. They think that some revered figures are portrayed in it, like they have shown Usman and Ali and Muawiyah in the show, and these are the people who shouldn't be shown in the show. So far in the West, whatever movies Hollywood made, they never showed any respected Islamic figure in their movies. Like even if they show somebody, like in the movie Message, if they're showing Muhammad, they're just showing the view. And similarly in other shows where if they're showing Ali or other Sahabas or caliphates, they're just showing the view through their eyes, and there is no face at all. So there is no portrayal of the real person. You cannot really have the idea of how they look like. So, but in this show, they are actually showing. Okay, let me see. In this show, they are really showing people. They're not only showing people, but they are showing their emotions and their facial expressions and how they look like. So, like when you watch that show, that you have an image of Ali in your mind, or you have an image of how Muawiyah looked like, and then you can carry it on for the rest of your life. Then there are all historical inaccuracies and inappropriate scenes. That's another reason. Like, like there are Arabic way of dancing and drinking and all that in the parties. I was surprised. So far, I was of the opinion that perhaps um, they were not very well developed people. But of course, Sufyan was very rich, and when he was throwing parties, and when Muawiyah was throwing parties, they had like very nice houses, good carpeting, very nice lighting system in the house, and the girls were like kind of wearing very flashy dresses, and the dances were like really rhythmic, and the music was really good. So these people are sitting in their houses or in their tents and the city wall and all those houses. This is a very nice and very clean area. That's what they showed, and they tried to show that they were like happy, healthy, rich people. The prosperity was there, and it was not the common perception of Badus living in that area. But again, then nobody wants. This is the basic difference between Christian theology and the Muslim theology, is that you're not supposed to. It's not a part of theology. It's a perception actually that you're not supposed to show the faces of the people, and that everybody who is a prophet or a companion of the prophet, he is absolutely 100% a sin-free person, and he cannot commit sin, which is the opposite in case of Christianity and Judaism. They believe that even the prophets were full of sins and they committed sins, but the beauty of the Christian um, or the Jew history or oral traditions or biblical traditions is that they all committed sins, yet they all admit it and ask for forgiveness, which makes them a better person than all those Muslim prophets and Muslim Sahabas. Because I don't think so there is anybody who is sin-free according to the scripture except for Jesus Christ. Anyway, so this is yet another reason. So I would say like sectarian sensitivities are there, portrayal of revered figures, and then historical inaccuracies and inappropriateness, and of course governmental bans are also there, and all those countries which are actually against Saudi Arabia, um, they want this show to be banned. On the contrary, Pakistani government is quiet, and Pakistani mullahs are making a lot of noise. Just like always, they have a lot of time to talk about this. Going to the other side of House of David. House of David has some inaccuracies, like David is portrayed as a bastard son, and his other brothers are born of another woman, and David is a shepherd boy who's living in the forest with his sheep. And he has a younger sister too. And the flashback shows us that his mother was a musician, and that's how he learned to play and sing. And he's the most unaccepted child in his family. His brothers don't like him, and when Samuel anoints him to be the next king, they try to hide it because they're afraid. How could be a bastard be a king? And they are also afraid that Saul is going to come over and kill them all. So they are just, for now, the 4 or 5 episodes that I have watched, they are just trying to hide the very fact that David has been anointed. But on the other hand, he's invited by Saul to play music for him, because Saul is being haunted by a bad spirit after Samuel denied him his kingship. And David, according to the biblical version, plays for him and helps him to calm down, and he feels better when David is playing. So Pastor Tony William, he's very respected to me. I love him for the work that he is doing, but he showed the same kind of emotions my Muslim brothers showed in case of Muawiyah series. He made a video against Netflix TV series Mary, also because of the inaccuracies. When you're looking at David, House of David, at the beginning of the show, they say that okay, this is not absolutely a biblical show, and we made some amendments to dramatize the show. I'm paraphrasing the statement. I'm not giving you the accurate statement. Yeah, but House of David, on the other hand, is It's like you can call it a biblical Game of Thrones. They show, I don't think so that Saul's house was like this glamorous the way they showed his sons and daughters. But anyway, they need to glamorize it, they need to make it look different. And as I always say, the movies are larger than realities and they have to spice them up. And that's one reason that sometimes people who are very rigid in their ideas and their ideologies and philosophies, they deny those TV shows and movies which are not supposed to be. But the truth of the matter is that people who can criticize, two people can criticize, two type of people can criticize these kind of shows. One, who really don't know anything and they are blinded by their faith, and to them seeing a picture or a character being played by a person for a Sahabi or a prophet is a cardinal sin. Those are the people who really are going to be disappointed and get mad and angry. And then there's a group of people who know too much about it, and they have a certain ideology, and their faith process and their conviction revolve around a certain line, and they don't allow anybody to come inside that circle. Any other idea cannot go in. So for West, they always been making such movies and such TV shows with a lot of historical inaccuracies and to glamorize those shows. So I don't think so. This is going to be making much difference. Nobody is talking about House of David being a show which has a lot of biblical inaccuracies, except for the Pakistani Christian priests, and they have this problem because they grow up in that kind of culture where a religious person is bound and obligated to respond to anything which is not aligned to the biblical teaching. So in this context, Pakistani mullahs and Pakistani priests are almost the same, and they like to talk about the inaccuracies and point fingers if there is a problem. But it's a good thing is that Muawiyah series is not made by Hollywood or Denmark or Britain or Sweden or Norway. Otherwise, we would be having a lot of protests in Pakistan. People would be burning the properties and burning churches in response to the TV show made by the Western kafir infidel people. It is made by the people who call themselves the leader of the Ummahs, and Mohammed bin Salman is determined to change the older picture of Islam, and he is ready to decipher the Islamic scripture and come up with a newer version of it. Well, that's all from my side. I think both the shows are awesome, and we need to look at them just historical shows with a lot of drama in them, without thinking that they are drawn from the actual society. There's a lot of oral tradition about Muawiyah, and there's a lot of oral tradition about David's mother story. We all need to look into it, and people who have strong faith, I don't think so anything can actually change the views and ideology. Just watch them as shows and enjoy them. And if you don't like them, don't watch them. That's all I can say. Thank you very much.